All right, this is Rob G from Masa for la Raza. Fortunately, my sound card went caca on me. Sorry. We got Jota Effectus in the house. We were I don't know how far we recorded on the last one, but we were just talking about how he got started on the hip hop, how he didn't even know what really hip hop, just Spanish hip hop, and then it just went from there. But
going through it one more time. I got here to the United States. I started listening to gangster rap. I started to do gangster rap in a sense. Didn't like it because when it came for me to like perform and to tell my songs in front of people.
Yeah.
I know that the image that I painted in my raps wasn't what I was. So we're like, nah, I don't want to do this. That's when I changed and say like, oh, you know what? I'm not doing a different way. I want to do hip hop for me, like how I want to express myself. So then I changed, right? And but then I was really lost because I didn't know what hip hop was. So then I started to study what hip hop was, and I fell in love, and I got to know a lot of other hip hop artists. And I went back to the old school. I went to listen to KRS-One, Big L, JC, Nas, El Cool J, J Electronica, Monster Squad, Big Pun. All the other rappers that were doing it like back in the days. So and I noticed what they were talking about, and I noticed what the sounds that they were using. It was really different from gangster rap. So yeah, that's when I made the change, and I've been in love with hip hop since then.
Your form, your style. Whew. By the way, we're at El Kiosko number 2, and I'm burning up with this
bomba salsa.
Oh man, this salsa on this burrito, and the burrito just takes up the whole entire plate. I'm loving this. I'm gonna feel it. Yeah. You're gonna hear loud. Yeah, it's the heat, guys. It's the heat. No piensa que es otras cosas. But we were just mentioning how here in Salinas, even when you moved down here, you've been here one or twice or something. You were at Alisal, and you sent this this vibe that you like, and it kind of brought you back a little bit to Oaxaca, where you're
Ensenada, Maniadero, Baja California. This is the thing.
Baja California. I'm sorry, California. My bad.
So let me give you a little background about that, because right out of the bat, I don't know, I have never been in Oaxaca.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have never been in Oaxaca. But I know that my characteristics, my physical characteristics, shows that I'm from Oaxaca. Like I'm down south, right?
Okay.
And that is because my family is from Oaxaca. My parents are from Oaxaca. I have my roots there. And the reason why I really support and try to identify myself as a Oaxaqueño is because there is a lot of discrimination within the Mexican community to the Oaxaqueño community. So because of that reason, I try to break away from that and say hey, this is who we are, and I'm not the only one doing it. I have my brother Una Isu doing it really big and doing it really strong. He actually makes music in Mixteco, Espanol, and English.
Wow.
So 3 languages in one song is really beautiful. And if you have the time, check him out. It goes by Ina Isu, lenguaje. Mixteco es un lenguaje. That's the name of the track. It's really good. He speaks. He raps in 3 languages.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. So yeah, the Oaxaca, we can get to a whole different thing about the profiling in amongst our own race. You could say, that's it's sad to say, but it just. So Alisal Center for Performance Art, is that where you kind of got started here in Salinas, or where? How did you start?
So
how do you end up over there? I guess you could say.
Yeah. So. Well, I came from Guatemala in Santa Cruz area, right? Well, the Santa Cruz area. And I was really involved in the community over there with the Brown Berets, with Barrios Unidos, with Digirones, with I'm like, I don't know, I like to do shit. And but when I got here, I found myself going to Guatemala, going to Santa Cruz, and I was like, yo, I'm living in Salinas. I know that there's things to do.
Yeah, there's something here.
I know that there's people doing already stuff. So where are they, right? And so I went out and looked for them, and I noticed there was a lot of groups, but I couldn't. I wouldn't say I couldn't reach out to them. Again, I was going through a lot of personal issues at that time. Mm-hmm. I was working 2 jobs, so I didn't really have any time for myself. So.
Oh, man.
So then I got in contact with Caminos del Arte because they actually saw me in Barrios Unidos in Santa Cruz, and they said, like, hey, we're from Salinas. We have Caminos del Arte. We do events every year, and we would like to have you to perform over there. And we're like, yes, of course, let's go and do it. And
Yeah.
by that time I was already here, and I was like, hey, I would like to be involved more on making events for my community, for that community. And they were like, okay, well, help us out. And I did a few events with Caminos del Arte. We did Dia de los Muertos. We did
At the what park is it?
Cluster Park.
Cluster Park.
Cluster Park.
Oh, okay.
I have done it 3 times with them, but unfortunately, based on my schedule and their schedule, we couldn't make it work. So then I stopped doing it. And in December of last year, 2016, I actually decided to say, Jorge, you need to start working on your music. Like, you actually have to start making more music, be more active on your music, because I was doing a lot of organization work, right?
Yeah.
I was volunteering a lot to do events and stuff like that, but I wasn't really working on my music. So, and I have to make music. So therefore, I collaborated with Nopal Media. You can look them up on Instagram or Facebook, Nopal Media. And that's when I said, like, okay, I have these versos, like, make it happen. Let's start making music video, a cappella videos. And
Yeah.
they helped me out. And that's why I have some videos in my YouTube channel. If you go and look it up as Jota Effectus, I have 7 videos. Actually,
Yeah.
I have more than that. But I mean, 7 videos that I did with Nopal Media, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's, 5 or 7 or 6. Okay, the point is that I started making music, right? And then I was looking for locations to shoot a video. And I remember that way back then, again, when I visited Salinas,
Yeah.
I met Jose Ortiz, con Los Hijos del Sol. And I know they had a studio over there in ACFA, and I wanted to go visit them, right? But unfortunately, Jose wasn't there. Javier was there at that time, and I noticed that I just wanted to visit the area because, I just wanted to connect with somebody in the area. I wasn't looking to, like, do anything else.
You're talking about the east side area, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about ACFA right now. So I went into ACFA. Jose wasn't there. Javier was there. And I said, like, hey, I would like to get more involved with the community. I know this is a space that you guys have something going on. And there used to be an art studio. And they were like, he pretty much updated me about what happened. And then I saw, like, this big-ass mural, like, in the stage. And I was like, hey, do you think it's cool if I record a video here? With this background? And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And he pretty much opened me the doors to do whatever I wanted to do there.
Nice.
And that's when, like, okay, then that's how we connect. That's how I connect with Javier Tamayo, and I start working with ACFA.
So it started flowing from there.
Yeah.
Because, we're talking about hip hop and this and that, but it's more than that. You really do. And I guess because you were influenced with your sisters, how they were back then, young, just making these verses. I guess you want to call it poetry, I guess.
Yeah,
it was
poetry.
Poetry.
Yeah.
And it just flowed from there. And you actually bring some pretty awesome poetry. I don't know if you can help me define this, because there's, I guess, it's called spoken words now.
Yeah.
Spoken words is pretty much what you hear now. You don't hear, but it is kind of a form of poetry, right?
Yeah. That's a good question, and that's something that I have always think about, right? Because if you're thinking about the writing process of it, it's kind of like poetry.
Yeah.
Everything is poetry. Everything can be a poem, right?
Yeah.
A poem. The difference between a poem and and poetry is that the poem doesn't really have to rhyme.
Yeah.
And the poetry kind of like has that rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. But then when you brought it up to, like, to be a part of a performance, you have to give it life, right?
Yeah.
And the spoken word, I would say, environment, they accentuate a lot of the different words, and they use a lot of different accents, and they have a way to say things so that you can be more, like, engaged to it. You have to give it life, mean what you say and say what you mean. Now, when it comes to rap, you're kind of like following it to a beat, so you have to have a rhythm within a beat, and still
filling the gaps with words. I guess anything that kind of rhymes with it.
So, but then again, if you ask me, I would say that all of that is still poetry, right?
Yeah.
It's just how you actually perform it.
Yeah.
Is what makes a difference. Because I have raps that I can perform as a spoken word, and people sometimes like, oh, you're a spoken word artist, and I'm like, I guess,
Yeah.
But sometimes I put a spoken word piece into a rap, and it still sounds the same, or I can just read it to you, and it still sounds like a poem.
Yeah. And there's sometimes that you do that.
Yeah,
you
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, I don't need the beat. I just spit it right here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, and so is it pretty much this year where it has been going on that, like, you've been working with What is it called? The Alisal?
Yeah. Well, just I would say since January.
Since January?
Since January.
So it's still that young, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm kind of happy to see that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I took my decision in December, and that's how we met. And one of the things that I really noticed that it wasn't here in Salinas, it was an open mic. And I don't know. I love open mics because open mics was the first place where I could share my poems, I can share my poetry, where I can share my raps. So wherever I see an open mic happening, I will be there and I will perform my pieces.
And not only that, I think when you say open mic, I know they had one in Old Town Salinas back at the Cherry Beans, and unfortunately it shut down because of whatever reasons they gave. But it kind of like, once you know it's open mic, it gives you that opportunity, especially somebody that's trying to, still learning, still building, or even just trying to step up from their, rapping in their home, and then actually to audience, that you're going to be surrounded by a group of people that are going to support, if you mess up or anything, it doesn't matter. People are there just to support you and kind of help you grow in getting out of that, because it's pretty scary, and doing in front of people. There's so many times I've always like, hey man, I know a little bit of guitar. I would like to go up there, but that's why I give it to you guys for even, going up there in the stage. And it's pretty awesome to see somebody grow. And I really enjoy those kind of, those kind of places that allow that, and especially on open mic.
And what I love about open mics is that anything goes, like you can dance, you can do stand-up comedy, you can sing, you can rap, you can do spoken word. I mean, whatever you want to do. I've seen some people even like, hey, today I write on my diary and I like to share it to you guys.
Yeah.
Like that's sharing an emotion, that's sharing an expression of what.
And it's very therapeutic, man.
Exactly, man. So that's why I love open mics. And when I got here, I noticed that there wasn't any. So happening at that time, because I know there used to be one. So that's when I wanted to decide and work with ACFA to make that happen.
But you know what? I honestly, like I mentioned that they did it in the Cherry Bean, which was good. But where you guys are doing it, it's in the east side. It's in the heart of east side.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of times where people do have a lot to express themselves. But when you it's weird. I don't want to say, like we're right here, we're at Creek Bridge, and it's a whole different, seems like a whole different little world, right? It's kind of, so the thing is that it's just kind of like, amongst the east side area, you have these group of people that are finally coming out, and that, which is pretty awesome. So what's, you said that you have, you're taking your time getting what do they call it, albums now, or recording, single? Well, I don't even know how to define it these days, man.
It's a lot of technicality, dude. It's mix. I mean, can be mixed. What I'm working on is actually an EP. EP. After that EP comes the LP, which is an album. You can call it either way, LP or album. And before that EP is a maxi or a mixtape. Yeah, I mean,
there you go. You schooled me right now.
Yeah, we can talk about all the technicalities, and again, like that's the other thing. I have to do my research on what is what.
Yeah, like we just said. Thank you, YouTube.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube. Like all the people that make that special content for us to learn and stuff. Like I really love YouTube.
Like I said, I've seen you perform, and one of the awesome ones that I've seen you perform was with La Sofa Queen.
Yeah.
How did that come about? What was it? Did you guys give it a title?
Yeah, it's I Love Me.
I Love Me. So it's basically, you do the Spanish version, she does the English version, but you guys are going back and forth. It's an awesome thing to see. Man, I wish I took video on that one. But how did that come about?
Yeah, so when I was doing Camino del Arte, she was invited to perform in the stage that I was coordinating, and that's how I met her. And for me, knowing there's another hip hop artist in the area is for me like wow. And especially when it comes to when it's a woman, because again, women are not really represented as much, and they're not really supported as much as men do sometimes. So I was like, yeah, that's really cool. And I remember I was in the studio working on this track with a friend, and we were thinking like, man, this needs a female voice. And we were like, you know what, I know this other person, she goes by La Sofa Queen. And we talked, and she said like, she told me, like I'm not, she said that what she really wanted to do with me was to collaborate in a poetry piece. And I was like, okay. So then I forgot about that.
It's because you can spit some poetry, bro.
Yeah.
Because you spit some poetry. You actually have at the end, like we're thinking.
Yeah. So and then so that was the initial like talk about it, and then she one day came and said like, you know what, I grabbed this last night, and I want to share it to you. Maybe we can work with this. Let this be the concept or the theme about it. And it was about self-love. And I was like, once I listened to her piece, and I was like, man, I love this. So it was originally her idea and original her piece. What I did in the first few bars was that I translate what she said, but I didn't really translate literally. What I did was I translate to a male perspective.
Okay.
If you listen to what she says and what I say, it's the same thing, but I'm just talking from a perspective of a man, and she's talking from a perspective of a woman, but we're still saying the same thing. And I pretty much what I did was to translate those first lines. And after that, after half the poem, we took the time to do actually a good piece, like a good amount of like spoken word.
At the same time, right?
No, by ourselves.
Same time. Oh, okay.
By ourselves, but that's when we got more deep into our issues as individuals. Like she is a woman and me as a man. But again, if you listen to them, they're really similar. Because we're talking about self-love and how we went through with it and what does it mean for us. So, and after that, it was just like, sharing ideas, sharing experiences, and sharing emotions and all of that. And we kind of like put that on the paper and like made it happen.
Now getting more involved in Salinas, and what do you see like in Salinas? What do you kind of hope to see in Salinas as far as the arts, or what is needed? I guess let's start with that.
What I believe is needed in Salinas is one is spaces. There's hardly any spaces here. Like if you think about it, like of course there's businesses that offer you a space, but that comes with the price, or that comes with certain things.
There's always some kind of business aspect to it.
And now after that we have ACFA, but that's a city building, so there's only so much that you can do there. Now, is there any other place that you can think of? You've been in Salinas, right? There's any other place that you can think of that have a space for art open for the people? There really isn't.
You guys test the waters with the XL Public House with the spoke, and that's what I was like, that's what because like you said, that is ACFA. You can only go so far. You have to be somewhat filtered in a sense because it's a city building and all that. So you got to be respectful
and
on that.
Also because they want to control whatever they goes there.
Yeah,
and I understand that.
So when you have a place like XL Public House, which we were just mentioning, how they've always opened up their doors to something different, and it was just like all out. You can say, it was a lot of adult content.
Yeah, exactly. But then that brings the other side that, okay, so where is the youth? Like we have so much great content, but how can the youth get a hand of it? A piece of it? And again, it's hard to like find a space in the middle, but it's possible. And we can only start working on making that possible once we have this. And if we don't have the space, it's really hard to actually be talking or even thinking about it, because we cannot actually put that shit into action.
Oh man, so if there's any business owners or there's any people that are willing to provide an open space for these talents, just to express themselves.
And the other thing I believe that Celine, I don't know if he needs it, but what I think it should be really awesome is that I noticed that there's a lot of groups in Salinas. I'm talking from my perspective. I hope not to hurt anybody's feelings, but I don't see a lot of action. There's a lot of groups claiming, to say that they do this and do that.
Yeah.
But where are the actions? And I'm all about actions, dude. Like, 'cause I can talk for days, and we can daydream, and we can fantasize about what is possible. But once you start putting the steps necessary to make that happen, is when you actually doing it, and actually have something to say like, oh, this is what we're doing, instead of like, oh, this is what is possible, this is what we can do. And again, I'm coming from a place that I organize a lot with Salinas and the Brown Berets and Digitones and Barrios Unidos, so I know what it takes to make shit happen. I really do know what it takes, and it takes money, it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes people, and that's a lot. And it takes commitment, and that's something that is really hard to find. Again, there's a lot of groups out there. I honestly would love to see them do more stuff.
But I think that's probably what it needs, is just somebody to help them take it to that next level, because it is that nervous jump. It's for that jump from knowing how to spit a verse in your house, and then going to the stage, and then put something up in SoundCloud, and then from there it's like, where do I go? It does need that collaboration. Another thing that I really admire what you guys do is that it's not about you, really.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not about boasting about, it's just me and I got money and I got this and that. There's some, hip hops and all that, and I know they throw that in their verse. But my thing is that I've always liked the style that you guys bring up, because, there's going to be some tracks that say whatever, but there's some tracks that, like, we'll talk about, basically what's inside,
Yeah.
or some issues or something like that.
No, I totally feel you, and I feel like as an artist, it's a challenge. I mean, it's easy to talk about like superficial stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about material stuff. Honestly, it is easy, and it's also easy to rhyme. But it was really hard is for like the artist or whoever is trying to do a piece, have something that has that have them really deep, and put it out on the album and being vulnerable. Like,
Yeah.
that's hard. Like, that right there is hard. Because you can even like write a piece and be like vulnerable, right? But can you share it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Or you can like do a visual painting and it be so intimate about you. You have it, right? But can you share it?
Yeah.
And that's what is really, really the hard part.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I can write some pieces that are really deep to me, but when it comes to me to like
To share it.
to share it, it's like I don't
Yeah, 'cause
know.
yeah.
I don't know, and I understand that, dude, because it's again, we are growing into not being vulnerable, especially in the East Salinas or East Salinas itself.
You gotta be
it's-
hard.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta
Yeah,
be hard.
that's
You
the
can't
mentality.
show weakness or any of that.
Yeah.
So every time somebody shows some of that weakness, some of that vulnerability, to the contrary, it happens the opposite. It happens like, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to feel connected to you.
And
have
not that I'm
somebody
not
else-
the only one.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then again, from the artist to take that step is really hard.
Yeah, and it's because, plain and simple, it's the judgment, and you're always going to get judged. But one thing I've always known and learned is, like, don't be judgmental, because then you're going to get in that mindset that you're going to kind of shoot yourself down, because now you feel like everybody's judging you, in that mindset. Like I said, it's pretty awesome that you guys are really collaborating, that you guys are working. That's why I'm seeing that it's slowly building up, but it's building,
Yeah.
And there's a kid out there right now wants to spit or wants to put a poetry, wants to do all that. What can you recommend them to do?
I mean, kind of like if it's a kid like me, like what I used to be back in when I was 13, I will tell them that's the art form that you have. It may be dancing, it may be spoken word, it may be rap, it may be like visual. Whatever you put, like whatever you want to share, that represents you. Like after you spit that or after you show that picture, are you gonna be proud of that? Like, are you gonna say like, oh shit, like I did that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then again, are you painting an image that is not you? And if you're cool with that, are you cool with that? I mean,
Yeah.
because that's also possible, and you can do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I mean, is it cool with you? Are you okay with that? And I mean, honestly, what I see in a lot of people, I mean, a lot of young artists, especially rappers, have the mistake of doing is that they expect to deserve everything, to be entitled. To say like, oh, I know my raps is really hot and fire, I need to be here, I need to be there, unfortunately I learned the hard way that there's nothing gonna be given to you. You have to work for it, you have to make the connection, you have to reach out to the people that you think are gonna help you out, and also be able to help other people, because nobody's gonna just give you the whatever you think you need, just because. I mean, honestly, we're in a world that, what is it for me? And even if you find somebody that is not looking at it that way, at least they're looking at it a way that like, okay, are you at least putting your effort into doing, like, because I mean, time is really precious, dude. Like that's money, that's
Time,
that's our
energy, and sometimes money. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, again, if you are a young artist that would like to start expressing yourself in any shape or form, just remember that try to do you, like,
Yeah.
that's gonna whatever you're gonna do is that's represent you, and are you gonna feel good after you do show it to the world.
Also, as a young artist, I honestly think that it's kind of good if you can explore life and learn things, and because a lot of times I see verses come out with young people because that's all they know,
Yeah.
But the feelings, like how the poetry, like your sisters did, that's something to be a nice start off. And Jota Effectus, I really appreciate that you're on the mic. I think I'm going into food coma. So I actually finished the whole burrito.
Yeah, man, I think I'm about to finish that one too.
Yeah, so I'll let you get on with your day. I really appreciate everything. Oh, how can we find you?
So my name, I go by the name of Jota Effectus, and it's spelled by JOTAEFFECTUS, Jota Effectus. JotaEffectus.com. You will find everything. I mean, all my social media.
Yeah, it has it's a nice, clean website that just has all the links. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit you up on that one because I kind of want to have that same layout. But
I took it for somebody else too. So.
Oh, there you go. It doesn't matter. It works.
It works exactly.
And so, before I leave, how did that name come about?
That's another long story. But long story short is I used to be by JF. But when I look it up, there's a lot of JFs out there.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, nah, like I want to be unique.
Yeah.
I want to be different. So I changed it to Effectua. Didn't like how it sounds. Like it doesn't have that really good sound of Jota Effectua. While I was looking at the definition of Effectua, which is make shit happen, I saw the Latin.
Oh, it's a Latin word?
Yeah, Latin word says effectus for effectua. So I was like, oh shit, there we go, Jota Effectus. And I like how it sounds. So, and I understand that it's a Latin and Greek name, even though I'm a mixed from New Savvy, and I actually have something that I have, especially for that, because I want to explain that what I think about all of the definitions and the words of whatever.
But it has it. Well, okay. So making it happen, and that's what you're doing. You're making it happen, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess we're done.
We're done. Again, muchísimas gracias, Rob, en Masa por la Raza, for having me and allowing me to have the space and and the energy from you. I really, really appreciate that, carnal.
Thank you, bro. Gracias, man.